The winner of this will get to play in the grand finals. Now, typically in our tournaments, we've been running best of threes, but not anymore. Not for those winners, losers, or grands. These are all best of 5.
And we are locking in for this losers finals. Here we go, trainers. This is a Fairy type Florges into Fire type Talonflame. You would think this is great for the Fire type, but Florges, with this new Community Day move, Chilling Water, will have the opportunity to hit hard and hit the Talonflame with also a debuff.
Yeah, look at this, how much that Incinerate damage alone has chunked away at the Florges, putting up a last-second Protect Shield on Hikhami's side there. Wants to keep that Talonflame nice and healthy, even though his attack has been debuffed. Just ramping right back up again here with that Flame Charge. Will Cockshack choose to shield in kind? No, choosing to let that go through, and it is enough to knock out that Florges.
And Talonflame, this is how we're used to seeing it, ramping up instead of getting debuffed down. And Hikhami, he is spending his resources on the Shadow Talonflame. So far, it's only taken Fairy Winds and 1 Astonish damage. Look at how healthy this bird is.
Going ahead and now actually swapping out into the Empoleon. But if you're Cockshack, you're saying this is exactly what I want to see. The Empoleon does have a little bit of an energy advantage, able to hit this Drill Peck first, getting that shield off of Cockshack's side.
I think Hikhami realized that with the Florges gone, there wasn't that many targets left for the Empoleon. So he decided to spend it where he could. And here we see Cockshack going for the close combat. This will be enough to take out an entire Empoleon.
That's a whole family of Empoleons, most likely.
And here, then the Pangoro will now be debuffed. Look at these Incinerates. They're chunking so much down this Pangoro.
You see Hikhami going ahead, taking some notes there, recognizing how much energy is left, but it does take a lot. He's able to get to 2 more Grounded Jump to be able to get to that next Night Slash before it goes down.
And how much damage will this Night Slash do? Because this Talonflame is about to get knocked down. And it knocks out the Talonflame.
A quick pivot now again back into that Corsola, but Corsola is so low health at this point. It does have a shield to hide behind, but it has the potential to completely be mud slapped down. Gastrodon nice and healthy, no Protect Shields remaining, but the first Nightshade connects.
And Gastrodon fighting from behind down a shield. But, oh, and Corsola barely gets to the Nightshade. Can the Gastrodon hang on? This will be so close.
Going ahead and throwing some shade here, and it seems to be enough to knock that Gastrodon out. Cockshack takes game number 1 by a very slim margin.
It was looking so good for Hikhami in the beginning with his Talonflame doing so much, landing that Shadow Fly, that Corsola.
The best of 5s, I think, is potentially a different mind game than it is for the other rounds.
Oh, absolutely. The mind games in the best of 5 is completely different because you can try to read more into what your opponent is going to pivot to. And Hikhami, he's made a read, but the Cockshack has to be pleasantly surprised with this read here.
This read has those Dragon Breaths do basically nothing to almost this Steel-type Pokemon, but either one of these charge attacks aren't going to be super effective against this Zweilous either. Dragon Breath's going to be able to generate energy a little bit quicker than it has previous seasons. Zweilous still got knocked down to the yellow from that Drill Peck, just charging up to almost 100 energy, throwing the Dark Pulse, this heavier hitting attack, but I don't think it's enough to knock out.
It probably isn't. This Steel-type Empoleon is struggling more against this Dragon that we expect this Dark Pulse hit so hard.
Oh my goodness, yes, it did almost knocks out, but at this point, there's not a lot of farm for whatever comes in next, and it looks like Hikhami goes ahead, lets that Zweilous go down. Not very effective, but even still, it's enough. In comes that Talonflame, and actually, that's just the perfect amount of farm for one Incinerate to go through and get a little bit in, but now comes another Dragon on the other side.
And Cockshack has brought his Goodra to counter that Shadow Talonflame. Nothing eats a flying bird like a dragon. So there's a pivot on both sides. Hikhami, the slog into Cockshack's Panda Bear, who going for the body slam, and it's not shielded by Cockshack.
I mean, you would think, knowing what's in the back, he says, okay, I see the whole lineup of Cockshack's side. Not fooling around here, going for that close combat, and it connects, and it knocks that Gastrodon so low.
And how will Hikhami try to maneuver around this? He's shaking his head. Cockshack too is shaking his head. Are none of these players happy with their situation?
I think if you're a Cockshack, you might be in a decent position here, but we've seen how much these Shadow Incinerates do to Pokemon. Might be able to see him ramp up even more. The Fly is already loaded. 2 Protect Shields remaining. Cockshack uses his first one on that Goodra, which I have to admit is looking pretty good for him in this moment here.
Stop
so
it,
much energy. Everyone loves it just as much as his talent. Talonflame loves to shield up this Aqua Tail.
I think the Talonflame is in danger of getting Dragon Breath down, but can Hikhami reach 2 charge attacks? That will be the question. And if he can, will one fly knock out the Goodra?
At this point, it's getting desperately closer. Is one Protect Shield remaining? He's got to use it at this moment. But will the Talonflame be able to reach another before the Dragon Breaths go down? It is going to be an absolute race at this point. He needs one more Incinerate. He's able to get it. It's charge attack priority.
It's a Shadow Fly. Hikhami, he didn't have a single lead. He no shielded at close combat, but Shadow Talonflame is soaring through the sky, knocking out this Snail Slug Dragon.
And going ahead and taking game number 2. So close at that point. That shadow damage is doing so much. That fly was too much for the Goodra to handle.
Cockshack, he's relying on the same strategy more for every game. Bringing the Panda Bear. It's been so good for him.
It seems like a pretty good Pokemon and a really good meta pick, especially if you're looking at the team that Hikhami has. It doesn't surprise me to see that Pangoro is normally there because it hits hard against almost everything, kind of forcing Hikhami to play that Gastrodon and to be able to play some things like that Talonflame, which make it a little more neutral.
And here comes a charge attack priority event, another one, and Cockshack is seeming to win this one as well, or this one here. And in the mirror matchup, that can decide the entire flow of the battle. Will Cockshack decide to spend a shield here, though?
If you have a squishy Pokemon like Pangoro, maybe you want to use your shields for it, and it looks like that's exactly what he's decided to do. They're still just trying to assign each other. It might be a simultaneous knockout. That's exactly what it is. Now, we will see that top timer going to 8, 7, it's counting down. Neither one of these trainers want to bring in their Pokemon first. They maybe even let the timer decide, and I think that's, oh no, going for the Goodra at the same time that's going for that Gastrodon.
And that is so fortunate for Hikhami. The Gastrodon is so safe for him, so going into the Gastrodon was the best option. Cockshack, he came into the Goodra as that is safe for him, but now Hikhami gets to avoid his Shadow Talonflame on that Goodra.
It looks like it's going to be pretty nice from their Body Slam going through. Cockshack knows neither one of these attacks should be enough to knock out, but Goodra is definitely putting in work. While Dragon Breath used to be so oppressive, it's now an energy gainer. He goes out with a ton of energy. He's going to be able to tank this Body Slam now onto that Pangoro and just continue to ramp up energy himself.
But this also means that the Talonflame will have an easier time farming down this Pangoro. And now let's see. Cockshack, he does trust in his Pangoro's IVs, but that meant that Shadow Talonflame, it does so much damage with the Incinerates.
And being able to, now he's got to shield this up. There's 2 shields remaining on Cockshack's side. He had to use that first one there because he knew this is the only Pokemon left for him. And Hikhami, now he's kind of breathing a sigh of relief because even though the Goodra is going to be a pretty good matchup against the Talonflame, when it's that low health, there's not much he can do. He's going to be able to incinerate down, and he's going to be able to take game number 2, going to the side of Hikhami.
And Hikhami, he must be so relieved that the Night Slashes went down with the Pangoro because there was so much energy on that Panda. And Hikhami just deleting all of it with his Shadow Talonflame. We've got game 4 locked in for these trainers. And let's take a look at what they have decided to play.
Hikhami just needs one more game to be able to put himself back up into that grand finals. Cockshack needs to be able to get 2 more off of him here in this best of 5. He has Galarian Corsola in the lead, a nice and bulky Pokemon, but still starting to melt away under that pressure of Hikhami's lead of that Shadow Talonflame.
This matchup is actually worse for Shadow Talonflame than the regular Talonflame, in my opinion. These Astonishes do so much damage, and one fly, it's not enough to potentially knock out the Corsola.
You say that, but I don't know. We might be about to find out because 2 flies are loaded, and this looks like it might be able to get it desperately close, and it absolutely is not. Look at it hanging on by a thread, and Hikhami goes and snipes it in with his own Corsola.
And here the Panda Bear comes in to face this Galarian Corsola of Hikhami. He got rid of the Galarian Corsola of Cockshack, but it cost him a shield and a Shadow Fly on that Talonflame.
Not only that, he ended up going into now he's locked into this matchup while Cockshack can comfortably swap out should he even choose to do so. This first Nightshade going through, no Protect Shield used on that Pangoro. He's already seen the Talonflame, and if he has any indication from the previous matchups, I think he probably knows what's also in the back. Still just getting up a ton of energy, throwing right before the next attack is available.
This matchup is also looking to get down to the wire. Hikhami needs to pull out all the stops to stop Cockshack from returning the favor with another snipe with Gudra here. But now we see Snail against Snail, Slug against Slug, and Gastrodon. Can it take on the bulky Dragon Gudra?
Gudra, Cockshack says, I see what you did earlier. I want to get a little bit of that energy for myself coming in with that Gudra, just getting a one Dragon Breath to be able to knock out the Corsola, put it a little ahead on energy. But Gastrodon tried and true, getting up as much energy as possible, not using any shields, just basically using this as a sluggy sponge as the next Aqua Tail also connects, and you see them going to be able to throw a body slam now of his own.
Hikhami not wanting to stall the timer and give Cockshack an opportunity to swing momentum back. He's throwing a body slam. It's not shielded by Cockshack. How can Hikhami get around this Gudra? He has another body slam coming. Cockshack's shields up. He does not want to take a Shadow Fly, but Hikhami maybe goes into the Shadow Talonflame. It does! Here comes a Flame Charge.
This is exactly how he played it a little bit earlier. Because his Flame Charge will boost the Incinerates, he might be able to Incinerate down, but Gudra still has a decent amount of health. It has been able to get to the Aqua Tail, too. There is one protection used on Hikhami's side. He uses it right now. Will he be able to Incinerate down to throw on the Pangoro, or will Pangoro, he's coming in right now!
And Pangoro is taking an Incinerate for its trouble. It gets to the Night Slash. This will knock out the Talonflame. How much does Gastrodon have in store?
Going ahead, Night Slash, knocking out the Talonflame, falling from the skies. Gastrodon coming in, he slaps down the Pangoro, living by just a thread here. There's a little bit left, but the Gudra has the same, and it's a one-turn attack!
And the Pangoro hang on through one Mouth Slap. It needed two to get knocked out. That meant the Gudra could outlive the Gastrodon, and now we're tied 2-2. These Juggernauts are going at it.
Everyone, tune back in here. If you were getting away from your screens, get right back right now, because we are going into the decisive game number 5 of the Losers Finals.
And here we see the Talonflame on the Pangoro. Hikhami got it exactly where he needed to get it in this matchup.
This time, good timing is actually great timing, since they were on even energy, throwing that first attack. Will Hikhami choose the shield? Yes, he does.
In my opinion, Shadow Talonflame should throw immediately here, and Hikhami, he is well aware of this matchup's intricacies, because the Shadow Talonflame can farm down the Pangoro in the 2-shield scenario if Hikhami decides to shield another Night Slash.
Going ahead, throwing 2 more Karate Chops before throwing the next Night Slash, and that's exactly what Hikhami is going to do. Uses his second shield here in the very first part of the matchup because he knows he can Incinerate down, but Cockshack said, nuh-uh, not on my watch. Now this is a boosted fly, and it is going to get that shield from Cockshack's side, but he is switch locked into this Gudra, so we'll have to see what will come in as a response on Hikhami's side, and it looks like he's going in with that Galarian Corsola.
And the Corsola will out-bulk the Gudra. It's tankier, and it can take these moves better. But the Gudra is so much quicker to these charge attacks. So let's see how much damage the Gudra can put in before going down.
Splish, splash, these might look like little drops of water in a bucket, but this bucket will continue to overflow because this is the second one, and if you're keeping an eye on the energy on that Gudra, a third one is going to be available shortly here. He'll be able to throw it should Hikhami choose not to throw a Nightshade, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
And now the switch will be back up for Cockshack. He can come back in with his Pangoro, and that... Oh, but Hikhami has a charge attack ready, and it will take out this Pangoro.
Even though it's not very effective against this dark and fighting type, it's still enough to take it out at this range. Also, the Corsola still has another attack. I think he's one away from being able to throw at whatever comes in. So he's going to throw immediately now onto the Corsola on the other side. No protections remaining on either side. This is going to put in a nice chunk of damage.
This is a great land of a charge attack for Hikhami, because now he can outpace the Galarian Corsola to the Nightshade, and now the Talonflame is going to land so much damage on this Galarian Corsola.
This was what it was made for here, flying in, flying above, and Gudra comes back in, but there's a full
and there's a surrender, and Hikhami, he's celebrating, and Cockshack realized this was looking dire. The Gudra could not hold on, and Hikhami is celebrating like no